Chosen one, you didn't land here by chance. This moment was written into your timeline. Something inside you has been stirring, hasn't it? You felt the shift, the pull, the silent knowing that there's more happening beneath the surface than what meets the eye. And guess what? You're absolutely right. This isn't just another message on your screen. This is a divine signal, and it's calling you. You are not ordinary. You are not here to blend in. You've been marked for something greater, and heaven has been watching your quiet yes, your private sacrifices, and your faithful steps when no one else was clapping. Now, you're stepping into a moment that was crafted just for you. This next move, it's not about popularity. It's about purpose. So lean in. Don't scroll past. You are being invited into something sacred, something that carries eternal weight. This is for the ones who feel unseen, but know they've been chosen. This is for the ones who obey in the dark and trust even without the blueprint. You're not just watching, you're being activated. Get ready. The instruction is clear, the timing is precise, and the calling? Unshakable. Let's unlock what heaven has been whispering to your spirit, looking for purpose and peace. Hit subscribe and start the journey. There are those walking with a quiet certainty, sensing that they've been entrusted with something rare, something not meant for the crowd or the curious, but for the deeply aware. To those who've supported this journey without fanfare, may abundant favor find you. Your unwavering presence has not gone unnoticed, neither in this world nor beyond it. If these words stir something ancient within, leave the number 55 in the comments. That number isn't decorative, it marks a spiritual alignment already underway. And 55? It speaks to hidden instructions taking shape beneath the surface, preparing you for movements that demand discretion, not display. This next step isn't for applause or approval. It's a directive for the unseen part of your assignment. What's been concealed isn't lost, it's coded for revelation. Only those attuned to divine rhythm will understand. This is an inspiration. It's a layered message, unlocking in stages with each return. Come back whenever doubt clouds your clarity. Every revisit sharpens the signal heaven is transmitting to your spirit. Not everyone carries the weight of spiritual confidentiality, but some are called to it without needing recognition. This message found its way to you by design, not by coincidence. You've held sacred things in the chambers of your soul without need for affirmation. Not once did you parade what you knew. You cradled it like a silent oath, loyal to a vow only heaven heard. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. There are visions you've kept tucked away, moments you've witnessed in silence, and symbols that appeared in dreams too dense to interpret aloud. Not because you lack courage, but because you recognized the gravity of what was entrusted. You understood not every revelation seeks a spotlight. Some are living scrolls meant to be guarded, not flaunted. This is what sets you apart. Not because you shouted from mountaintops, but because you whispered in prayer. You never exposed sacred insight to shallow understanding. You didn't reduce holy direction into casual conversation. Instead, you waited for the unseen to confirm its path before you ever moved your lips. There are souls whose growth cannot be measured by accolades or applause, but by the stillness they've learned to dwell in. While others chase visibility, they chase alignment with the unseen. They no longer need confirmation from the crowd because their compass is calibrated to a deeper signal. That's why they become keepers of whispers, trusted with what others would misuse. Their inner landscape has become a shelter for what is sacred. Not everyone is handed unseen blueprints, but they were, because they wouldn't rush to unveil them. They didn't mourn closed doors that once seemed like dreams, because something within recognized they were being hidden for endurance, not excluded out of lack. What appeared to be pause was actually protection in disguise. What once felt like being passed over was a divine delay shielding a delicate foundation. What they carried in silence will one day echo with undeniable clarity. The still moments weren't wasted, they were set apart. The unseen paths weren't burdens. They were battlegrounds where resilience was shaped in secret. Instructions often arrive in subtle forms, tucked inside moments the loudest ones overlook. That's why they paid attention while others competed for attention. A reward is forming that will arrive without duplication, because it's designed for revelation, not replication. Holding truth in silence isn't concealment, it's reverence. It's a signal that one understands the sacred must be protected from being trivialized. Feel God's love stirring within you? Don't let it stop there. Hit the super thank you button and sow a seed of $20 or more. That simple act can ignite hope, heal hearts, and carry His love further than you imagine. You were made to shine His light. This is your moment. Be the miracle someone's been praying for. Let heaven move through you. That kind of faithfulness has not gone unnoticed. They held the unseen blueprint like sacred fire, not to flash it but to nurture it. The next phase they are walking into isn't meant to be declared. It's meant to be built in stillness. The absence of celebration is not neglect. It is heaven's trust taking shape. The timing is not random. If it was shown too early, it would be exposed too soon. What's emerging must remain guarded until it's ready. Power doesn't announce itself with noise. It arrives in precision. Their obedience has proven that they don't need eyes to move. They only need the voice. This is why they are being shifted into spaces that won't make sense to onlookers. Quiet steps are placing them exactly where they are meant to be. Hold fast. Remain yielded. Be prepared. There are moments when the next turn doesn't announce itself with clarity, yet it holds the weight of an entire shift. Longing for a dramatic change, one might expect fireworks, but the divine rarely chooses spectacle. What's coming may appear plain, even forgettable, yet it's crafted with precision beyond human measure. Not all beginnings look like a leap. Some begin with a subtle, sacred pivot that only faith can recognize. It could come as a gentle redirection, a quiet impulse that nudges action, a text deleted, a door closed, a schedule altered, a boundary enforced. The simplicity of it might tempt dismissal, but it's these very moments that become thresholds. What looks like a routine task might actually be a coded step in a much larger design. The move won't look like a climax. It'll feel like a footnote. But footnotes often contain the keys to understanding the whole. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. Don't be fooled by appearance. What seems unrelated to the promise may be the lever that lifts it. A plain gesture can be wrapped in divine precision, carrying impact far beyond its scale. There are countless sacred patterns in history where those who looked out of place were actually in perfect position, where the unseen chess move altered the entire game without recognition. That's how divine strategy works, not through spectacle, but through alignment. These instructions won't come with a title or spotlight. They will arrive in silence, asking only for trust. The shift might ask you to release what feels familiar, to birth something before it's seen, or to leave what once affirmed you. Others may misunderstand the step, but clarity isn't the goal, alignment is. While some call it random, heaven is calling it essential. In the realm where spirit leads, silence is a signal, and the seemingly uneventful becomes weighty. The unseen realm knows what your action will release. Darkness recognizes the authority behind your decision before you even see its effect. The unseen is already recalibrating because of a simple yes from your soul. That next act, though humble, carries velocity. It doesn't need a title or stage. It just needs your surrender. And that one move, it might be the hinge for the next 5 chapters of your story. That's why the signal repeats. The confirmation isn't noise. It's a mark of timing. This isn't just about crossing off a task. It's a moment that will echo for years. Your readiness isn't required. Your willingness is. Step forward not because you see the outcome, but because the call reached your spirit. That's the kind of faith that shapes futures. That's the kind of obedience that alters time. That's the kind of shift that doesn't just change circumstances. It changes legacies. In a time where exposure is mistaken for progress, and the urge to share feels like a measure of relevance, restraint has become one of the rarest forms of strength. While the world clings to visibility, those tuned to higher instruction are called to shield what is unfolding. This is not the hour to showcase, it is the hour to shield. The real work isn't in public, it's happening in the unseen corridors of your life. The transformation occurring now is not for the curious. It's still forming, still delicate, still requiring the hush of sacred space. Not every step is meant for commentary. There's a refinement happening beneath the surface that must remain untouched by premature hands. Growth does not demand display. It requires depth. It doesn't begin with an audience. It begins in solitude. What is developing carries weight, and that weight cannot be handled carelessly. Feel God's love stirring within you. Don't let it stop there. Hit the super thank you button and sow a seed of $20 or more. That simple act can ignite hope, heal hearts, and carry His love further than you imagine. You were made to shine His light. This is your moment. Be the miracle someone's been praying for. Let heaven move through you. Revealing too soon what is still aligning internally invites resistance that your current strength may not be ready to carry. Some journeys collapse not because the vision was wrong, but because it was spoken too soon. What looks like isolation is divine insulation. It is not silence out of punishment. It is silence for preservation. The strategy you're holding is not yet for eyes beyond your own. Not because it lacks power, but because its timing has not yet reached maturity. There are lessons in ancient stories where sharing too early cost people dearly. Revelation does not require repetition. It requires wisdom. When entrusted with a glimpse of what's coming, don't broadcast it. Let time finish its shaping. The outcome is not in proving it to others, but in protecting it long enough for it to flourish without interruption. Now is not the time for announcement. It's a season for mastery behind the veil. You have been given insight, not for performance, but for preparation. Public understanding is not your measure. Divine instruction is. Don't disrupt the sacred to satisfy the impatient. Don't lower the curtain just because someone asked what's behind it. The blueprint is confidential for a reason. Keep it safe. Keep it guarded. Even the most radiant light begins its journey cloaked. Purpose must be protected before it is presented. Hurrying the process exposes it to storms it was never meant to withstand. Those who learn to wait, who trust the rhythm of what's unfolding, will witness doors open that no one saw coming. This isn't about retreat, it's about readiness. This phase isn't about earning applause. It's about earning trust. Let your inner conviction outlast the outer noise. Wisdom knows when to act and when to wait. Hold firm. Guard the flame. Preserve the path. Every unseen step is being recorded in the spirit. And when the moment comes, everything you kept sacred will emerge with unstoppable strength. This silence is your strategy. Let it speak louder than your words ever could. Some shifts don't arrive with a spotlight. They unfold in silence, led not by spectacle but by sacred instruction. While others seek confirmation through noise, there are assignments that bypass the crowd entirely. These are the movements that are not announced, yet carry undeniable power. What's coming next is not designed to impress. It's designed to fulfill. There's no need for public approval when you're following a higher direction. The ones who change history often step quietly, not because they lack authority, but because they carry precision. This next step isn't for display. It's for alignment. When it happens, it won't be loud. It'll be accurate, and that accuracy will leave a mark far greater than any headline ever could. In the past, some of the most life-altering choices weren't made with applause. They were forged in prayer, grounded in surrender, and sealed in silence. You don't need to explain yourself. What's being set in motion isn't meant to be explained. It's meant to be lived. The energy behind it will be unmistakable to those who are truly listening. Discernment will always carry more weight than exposure. While others try to prove themselves through platforms, your proof will come through presence. How you show up, how you obey, how you follow through. The impact will be undeniable, even if the process remains invisible. There's profound wisdom in restraint. Some breakthroughs don't start with announcement. They begin with agreement between you and the divine. The growth happening now is not for display. It's for preparation. You're being asked to trust what you cannot yet articulate, to walk without the need to perform. There's a deeper kind of leadership rising in you, one that doesn't seek affirmation from applause, but finds clarity in obedience. You are not walking into this season to be noticed. You're entering it to fulfill what was written long before anyone else had an opinion about your path. In the same way that roots take hold underground before the tree breaks through the surface, the strength of what's ahead is being formed away from the noise. It doesn't need permission to exist. It only needs your willingness to carry it with honor. You're not called to debate the instruction. You're called to execute it. And that execution won't require noise. It will create results that echo. When you finally speak, it won't be from lack. It will be from fullness. Not from pressure, but from clarity. Not from fear, but from embodiment. Let go of the urge to be seen. What's sacred must be shielded until it's strong enough to stand on its own. No audience can affirm what only heaven can initiate. And when the time comes, the doors will respond to what was planted in stillness. You won't need to declare it. The evidence will arrive before the explanation. This isn't the season for showcasing. It's the season for shaping. The movement will not be loud, but it will be lasting. The choice to obey quietly is the fire that will ignite the shift others never saw coming. That's the kind of movement that changes everything. It can be confusing when progress feels stalled, and every step forward seems to echo with silence. When everything around you slows down, just as you've surrendered more deeply, it's tempting to think something has gone wrong. But this pause isn't punishment, it's precision. What looks like a standstill is actually a rerouting crafted to lead you through safer terrain. This isn't about delays. It's about protection. What you carry is being rerouted through unfamiliar territory, so that it isn't exposed to repeated patterns or recycled battles. What seems like a longer road is actually a guarded one. The familiar path is closed not because you failed, but because it cannot sustain what's being built within you. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. The shifting of connections, the closing of doors, the prolonged silence, it's all part of the recalibration. The terrain you're walking was never meant to resemble what you left. The path behind you served its purpose. Now the road ahead demands a deeper trust, because it isn't marked by signs, but by surrender. The unfamiliarity isn't rejection. It's intentional redirection. Some people were never meant to accompany you past this point. They weren't removed, they were reassigned. Some places you tried to access didn't open because they would have weakened your foundation. What you saw as obstacles were, in truth, reinforcements. You've been asking for advancement, but what you've received is a rebuilding. The structure underneath your journey is being rewired. The time it's taking is not wasted, it's war-proofing your future. The shortcuts that once tempted you now reveal themselves as traps you were spared from. There's nothing accidental about the slower pace. It's giving you time to develop strength in places you never knew needed it. Where you expected celebration, you've met stillness. But in that quiet, there's a deepening, an invisible preparation that will serve you when things accelerate again. Once the moment arrives, you won't be overwhelmed. You'll be ready. You'll have clarity where once there was confusion. You'll have discernment where once there was doubt. And you won't owe anyone an explanation, because the outcome will speak for itself. This path you're walking isn't random. It's calculated, not by human metrics, but by divine design. One day, you'll look back and see how every turn made sense, even when you didn't understand it. You'll see how being slowed down was the very thing that preserved the weight of your calling. Hold steady. Keep building in the quiet. Keep showing up even when the map seems blank. You're not lost, you're being led. And when the path clears, it won't just carry you into fulfillment. It will carry you into peace. Because what was birthed in patience will not be shaken by pressure. And what was hidden for a season will emerge with undeniable purpose. Feel God's love stirring within you. Don't let it stop there. Hit the super thank you button and sow a seed of $20 or more. That simple act can ignite hope, heal hearts, and carry His love further than you imagine. You were made to shine His light. This is your moment. Be the miracle someone's been praying for. Let heaven move through you. There are transitions that not only shape your future, but test every voice around you. When explanations grow quiet and updates fade, intentions begin to show. The stillness isn't just about obedience, it's a sacred sieve, separating loyalty from convenience. As the flow of information dries up, what once masked itself as support is unmasked. True connection doesn't demand access, it respects distance. When the backstage view is no longer available, watch what surfaces. Some were only present for the behind the scenes, not the calling itself. Some followed your vulnerability, not your vision. This silence is not withdrawal, it's divine filtration. You're not stepping back in pride. You're standing still in purpose. When communication becomes limited, manipulation loses its grip. When you stop feeding people your inner process, Their dependency on your doubt dies, and their true motives rise. Many were not walking with you. They were walking beside what you gave them. Now that the flow has been redirected inward, discomfort grows. Don't be alarmed. This is not abandonment, it's unveiling. Some ties were only ever attached to your access, not your anointing. The unseen space you're in now is exposing what was never solid. The questions, the distance, the strange silences, they're signs, not punishments. You are being calibrated for a move that does not require a chorus. It requires clarity, and clarity is often born through the departure of the unnecessary. You're not obligated to justify your shift. You're not assigned to accommodate every expectation. Some calls are meant for solitude, not group discussions. And when certain voices fade in your silence, recognize that as divine alignment, not personal offense. This refining silence is pushing pretenders out of range. Those who only stayed close through constant connection will wander when that access ends. But the ones who were called to remain will remain, even in your quiet. They will cover you in prayer, not questions. They will lean on faith, not frustration. That's how you recognize sacred partnership. Not everyone can bear the weight of your next chapter. That's why this phase is doing what your discernment used to hesitate over. It's cutting where you only trimmed. It's removing where you only tolerated. This isn't about becoming cold. It's about becoming clear. Let the separation do its work. Let the quiet expose what talking never could. Don't run after those drifting away from your boundaries. Don't reopen doors that were closed by wisdom. Some were only walking with you because your path was easy to trace. Now that the route is private, so is your circle. What looks like isolation is actually consecration. You're not alone. You're being elevated. And that elevation doesn't invite everyone. It demands a cleared path, not a crowded one. This chapter requires precision, not popularity. Let go. Move forward. And trust that what remains after the silence is what was always meant to stay. What's coming next isn't for an audience. It's for the appointed. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of a sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. Some breakthroughs don't arrive with banners. They erupt quietly after seasons of hidden faithfulness. You've been making moves the world never witnessed, yet those unseen choices have triggered tremors far beyond your view. Each silent decision has carried the weight of a shift. Though your hands may feel empty now, they have already set movements in motion beyond what noise could ever accomplish. What's been forming in your unseen devotion has become an unseen negotiation. While others chased visibility, your unseen yes carved out new alignments. Systems have been rearranged. Timelines have been rethreaded. Barriers that once stood firm are now quietly crumbling under the pressure of your obedience. The shift hasn't been loud, but it's been lethal to every structure that once blocked your access. You didn't have to ask for the door. You became the reason it opened. You didn't advertise your process. You became the proof of it. While others amplified themselves, you refined in silence. And now, the access you're being handed isn't casual, it's consecrated. This is not a promotion. It's a placement. It's not a spotlight. It's a mantle. And it wasn't built on charisma. It was born through consistency. The steps you've taken weren't small. They were strategic. This foundation wasn't made for applause. It was forged to carry generational weight. The moments you wanted to share but didn't. The spaces you were ready for but waited. Those are the moments that qualified you. Not for popularity, but for purpose. You weren't hidden to be forgotten. You were covered to be fortified. That's why no one saw you coming. You were never gone. You were growing. This isn't about grabbing attention. This is about governing assignment. You've outgrown the need to explain, and now the results will explain for you. Don't water down the door with hesitation. Don't cushion the moment with disclaimers. Walk forward without echo, because you didn't climb into this. You were carved into it. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. The shift coming doesn't require convincing. It will confirm itself. And you won't need a crowd to validate it. The heavens have already settled it. You're being placed in spaces you didn't campaign for, because your obedience did the speaking when your voice stayed silent. There's no need to retrace your steps for others. What you're carrying didn't come from them. It came through surrender. It didn't come from influence. It came through refinement. Every quiet decision became a gate key. Every hidden moment became a seal of trust. So when you're asked how this happened, you won't respond with pride. You'll respond with peace. You didn't manipulate this chapter. You matured into it. Now walk through it with the calm of someone who's been prepared in secret, because this door wasn't built by human hands. It was declared by heaven.